Hey guys, how you doing? We are building 372 big bore here. You guys by now watched this assembly. It kind of blew some people's minds at how fast it just went apart. I've done a lot of these saws. I can promise you the reassembly will not go as fast. I take my time to try to do things right on the reassembly. That video light just throwing my perception off something horrible here. I've been sick, either sun poisoning, heat exhaustion, both, don't know. Just got too much sun out doing some fencing work. I like to do these in a crisscross pattern. I don't necessarily think you would have to, but I would think it would be smart practice. And I'm not going to reef them down with this gun. This is a 200 foot-pound 3/8 gun. I don't even think it'll do that one, so we'll do it by hand. That gun's rated at 400 foot-pounds reverse and 200 forward, so which means it would snap those, which I could snap them barehanded if I wanted to, but we don't want to do that. Wouldn't want to have to drill it out. So we take our time going back together. It feels pretty good. These are steel drivers for a I think this one does, it's the larger one, does 660s, this one does. Alright guys, we got our deflector in place, I'm going to tighten it down. Pretty self-explanatory on that. You got one little screw or bolt, it's got a little dowel and a hole that sits in, and we're going to put our flywheel on, with our nut and our washer. And I like doing this because it's just easier when you go to do squish and chicken pork wrap and things. There we go. I don't really do a time in advance on these saws. I've just heard a lot of other builders say they don't like it. I don't know, maybe that's something we should try in the future. But I always do kind of clock it as far as it'll go with what slack's there. It's got a little bit of wobble, so I always just give it that little bit. Let's see, impact driver, there it is. Good smooth filling bottom end. Alright guys, we've got that handle wiggled into place. Off camera, of course. Nah, they're not that bad to do. Like I said, I don't know how I'll do this. May clip it up into little pieces, may just let it go. I don't know. Ding dong. I don't know what that was. Text message, some kind of notification. Who knows? Got the screw in the back. You got a screw here, and then you got, find it, this funny looking one that goes through back here that I think is just to keep the tank from falling off if all the other bolts fall out of it, I guess. I have no idea what the sole purpose of that thing is. Who knows? In right here. That's all I can figure. And of course, you know, the handle has a spring that goes on the cylinder to stiffen it on up. There you have it. You got about, I don't know, a third of a saw put together. Oh, look at that. That's more than likely an aftermarket switch in it anyway. Let's see, both ends of that look to be the same size. My old shop teacher used to say, just spit on it, go in. Yeah. Not teachers like that exist anymore. Get up there. Alright, nice and snug, right and tight. Wow, you gave plenty of excess wire. Yeah. Alright, guys, like I said, who knows how I'll do this, but I've got the coil not really secured in yet, but just to show you guys, we all do this business card. Barry's Chainsaw Shop. Probably something I've got off eBay, who knows. You guys know who that is? I don't. I order a lot of stuff. Sometimes the suppliers we like to use may not have what we need, and you just get it wherever you can get it, you know. That's just the way this game works, you know. If you've got someone's stuff here working on it, you need parts, you get it where you can get it. But I've got, you know, a handful of suppliers that I really like to use that's been good to us here as far as customer service and replacing parts and things. Wasting that top. That's what we like. Put Barry's saucer parts back in the drawer. Let's see. Brand new wiring. That pushed on. Before I forget it, I've got this over here started. That's a self-tapping screw. That's your ground wire that actually kills the saw. So we ought to have a working switch unless something blows up in the starter housing, and I bet that's on the wrong side of the plug wire. I'll bet on it. Let's see. Yeah, it looks different or better. And put our shroud into place. I'm sure it'll fall off before I get things done. Sure it'll fall off. Alright guys, I've slipped the carb tray in. Basically your fuel line's going to come up through your cable, and what I've noticed is I do not have, I knew it was broke when I pulled the other saw apart, that rubber insulator that the air filter hooks to. I know I don't have a good one here, I'll look, but I don't think so. I've got another carb tray here, I can look it up, but normally you can't really get those things back out without breaking them because they've been in there for like 20 years or so. Alright guys, we're going to do the oiler, then I'm going to show how the chain brake stuff goes in, and we may wrap this up because I want to do the cylinder and the whole porting like a different segment, because that type of video usually does a little better than this. Slide that in there, push him into place, and that's really all there is to that. You want to make sure that that little rubber grommet's on there. And it has a little groove up here in that oiler channel where it lays. Get into place. You know where you go. You know where your home's at. These are going to take 2 short screws. Now these holes do go all the way into the cases. You could run all the way through and get your crankshaft, and it ain't going to spin around afterwards. Let's see how I know. Run those in, torque them down, make sure your crank will still spin. We're still good. This one's binding on this shroud a little bit. I've got one short screw holding it on at the bottom because I'm not ready to put the starter cover on, because I like to use my flywheel, work things back and forth when we're doing the port work and timing and things. Got the oiler. This sleeve, okay. Now when I tore the other set of cases down, this is a completely different set of cases. These are 2165. I'd shown a video where I'd mated that 2166 case half to a 365 special case half. That's a completely different build. Those cases are painted as well. I've got GoPro footage. You probably would have seen at the beginning of this. I have no idea how I'm going to do this video. I'm just videoing and I'll come up with something. But anyway, usually when you tear a Husky saw down, they'll have that little O-ring that slips over the crank. I mean, it's a little tiny son of a bitch. Very easy to tear, very easy to grip, and I've bought one before. I stopped buying them after building like the first few steel 046s or whatever that use a similar setup. Some of your older 026s, 036s use a similar setup. The steel saws call for you to do this. This is Moto Seal motorcycle engine assembly silicone. We've all been over that. Everybody's got their favorite brand, but you know what? I bet it's all about the same shit. You know, whatever. My brand's better than yours. I don't know. I would say it's all about the same thing, honestly. But you want to make sure that it's chemical resistant. Some other oils may work. I'm not going to say that they don't. We're going to twist, push in. We're seated against the bearing. And that's where it's going in and seating. It's going through the seal. And it's seating up against the crank bearing. Then the next thing I'm going to do, if I can find it, I knocked my drink over. Luckily it didn't spill. Is I'm going to put my worm gear and clutch drive on that drives the oil pump. I don't think I'm missing anything. I think I can lay the chain brake in with the clutch. Okay guys, so the way this works is your brake band will go in first. Over here where I'm pointing, you can see there's a little pin. I still need to pick that down a little bit before I put my cover on. Then you'll put your spring in. Usually you can just push it in by hand. It's not like doing a steel saw or something. And the little arm that's on that, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's got a big hole and a small hole. The small hole's going to go over top of a dowel that's sticking up. You can't really miss it. You might be able to pick it out there. Then you're going to put this arm on. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's got a big fat dowel that sits in a hole in the case. And then this little plastic spring, I might have another one here I can show if I can dig it out. This one was actually still in those cases. Right here. This end of it over here, and my fingers will go against that arm and just kind of, I had to use a big screwdriver to push it down in and against it, and that's what gives it its spring action to fall back into place. But about all we've got left to do now is drop our clutch into place. Get it cinched up as tight as we can by hand. And what I'll do first time I start up is the chain brake will be set, and by doing that it'll reef that clutch on down and be right and tight, good to go. We're going to put this cover on. I really needed to pick that band into place, but it seems to be okay. I better do it just for my peace of mind. It can go down just a little bit more. That's all it needed. That cover probably would have pushed it down. Probably wasn't as big of an issue as I was making it out to be, but when I go back together with things, I'm a little more nitpicky than I was pulling it apart. But I'm not putting the clutch drum on because, well, we're going to port the saw, and we got to have somewhere to set our degree finder up. I may even go old school and go degree wheel with this one. We don't know. We'll just have to see. Got our fourth bolt there. And guys, all we like is tightening those down. There is one more part to this, but I'm going to wait and put it on later. I might need to back you guys up. My arm, you probably got a lot of my arm there. There is a metal, like a big, it's a bar plate's what it is that goes over top of that. Just one little screw holds it on. It's actually sitting in the ultrasonic cleaner soaking. I'll probably put it on at the very end. But yeah, guys, that's probably going to conclude this. If you're still interested in the build, want to see the top end done, just stay tuned to that. I don't know when it'll come up or out, but if the content ain't been that great, I do apologize. It's that time of year I normally lose interest in this stuff, but I'm so far in and so far invested, there's not really losing any interest in it anymore. Anyway, guys, like I said, don't know how I'll do this. I'll just try to hodgepodge something together. As always, thank y'all for watching. Everybody have a great day.